Shut up and sit down.
Greetings, fellow travelers. Elixir here, back with you today from FTB Revelation. How y'all doing today? So last time we built this jetpack, and I believe I can fly, and I believe I can sing this song. Anyway, today guys, we are going to get back to the ground, because we are going to be working with Rustic. So let's get suited back up, get into a normal view, pay no attention to that over there, and get started. Now you're going to find various trees and bushes and plants in the world that are associated with Rustic. If you look here, this is an olive tree with olive leaves, and if you look in that center section towards the top up there, you have blue Rustic there, which tells you this is a rustic tree. So this guy produces olive wood. So if we grab our little choppy chop, and I go in here and I choppy chop the wood, and we get some saplings and olives. So that's one way to get rustic material. Another is with these bushes right here. Wildberry bushes. Now you're going to find these out in the world. They don't grow in cold biomes like this one right here. This one I've transplanted, but they do grow in warm biomes. So if we go, if I turn on my jetpack, and we're not going to go look for one all the way over the place, but if you go right here, this is actually where I went and found one, and that plains right there. There was some like right up and over behind by that little water feature right there. They'll be all over in this area. If you just go fly around and look for them, you will find them. Pay no attention to that over there. So, it's easy enough to collect them and move them into, wherever you wish to do your growing. I just use a little silk touch right here. And you can pick up the berry and the bush itself, like so. And then you can just replant wherever you wish, like so. Now, if you just break it, you may not get it. Now, one thing about these here bushes, is if I take out some bone meal, we don't need these, we don't need that, we don't need these anymore. Take some bone meal and a whack at a bush, you get berries, right? You get the little red berries grow on it. But if I whack at a bush again, you see I get new bush. If I whack at a bush again, you get new bush. Whack at a bush again, new bush. So you only need to get one of these bushes, and then you can make a whole fleet of them. It'll only do that many. It'll only do 8 around it, but I can go to any one of these 8, and after the berries are created, I can create more. So super easy to grow your bush collection in the event you need bushes. So let's get these out of here. There we go. And then of course, to harvest the berries, just right click and you get the berries. Another thing you can do is you will find rustic beehives up in the trees. They're usually on the underside. I don't know where I have any more. Probably can find one relatively quick. Actually, there's a rustic bush right there. Yeah, this horsetail, this is from Rustic. So you find the plants just naturally all over the place. Let's see if I can find a beehive. That's Pam's beehive, that one there. So we don't want that one. A rustic beehive. You see they look more beehive-ish and less blockish. So that's a Pam's one because it's blockish. And we want to look on the bottom side of the leaves. They are quite yellow. So you would think that means they would be relatively easy to spot. There's so many other yellow things in the world, it's going to make it a challenge, I'm sure. Oh, Lord. Oh, yellow tree biome. No, that's going to make it hard. Let's get back over here. There's one right there. So if we zip on over here, that is a rustic beehive. And if you break this bad boy, there we go. You get honey and a bee. So we can take that back to the house. Oh, look, another circle. We have used you. For that was for roots 2. So if we head back over to our house, which should be over this hill right here. Aha! Back to the factory. We can put our bees to work. Now all you need to get is one bee, because you can make this apiary. Now it does need to be the rustic apiary, and with one bee, when we did get 2 there, but you only need 1. We can pop him in. He's going to start making honeycomb, and he makes it reasonably quick. The more bees that are in here, the faster he's going to make it. But he'll also produce additional bees. And eventually you'll wind up with 64 like we just had in there. So if I just dump all those in there, you can see almost instantly it created a new honeycomb. But we'll definitely use this honeycomb later. So that's olives and wild berries and honey. A couple of things we can make with rustic. Now let's make some more, because we're going to use all of these things later. So if I do at rustic, we want iron berries and we want grapes. We want chili pepper. So let's grab some of these seeds here. We'll get some apples and some grapes, some tomatoes. We already have olives. We're getting those out of the olive tree. Mushrooms. That's going to be a good start. Now we want to make some fertilized soil. So if we look at rustic and soil, you see there's fertile soil, which is just bone meal. So let's just make a stack of that because it's easy. And let's grab some more bone meal. And we're going to also need some crop stakes, I think is what they're called. These guys, wooden stakes. So let's just make a stack of those. Now we're also going to need some rope. Now this recipe in this particular pack is broken. I've tried it in my test world, it doesn't work. Tried it here, it doesn't work. Even though it shows rope here, I can put it in the grid and you just see I get out 2 string. I don't get out the actual rope. So it's not working as designed. Now one thing I haven't tried, I could try, if all else fails, try a vanilla crafting table and see if that solves your woes. Well, that's just fertile dirt. That's not even close to what I wanted. I wanted that. And take our string, put it down. Yeah, see, it just shows string here, which is not what we're looking for. We're looking for this rope. So, unfortunately, this is broken in this pack. So, the only way we can get it that I know of is we're going to have to cheat it in, because this should work. This is just a flaw in the pack design. There was a some recipe conflict probably that just didn't get fixed, because I doubt a lot of people actually use Rustic and noticed that there was a problem. So we are going to go into game mode, creative, and we're just going to give ourselves was it just called a rope, right? Yeah. So we're going to go rope, and we're just going to grab a stack and put it in our inventory. And because I don't like cheating, as you guys well know, we're back into survival, and we're going to take out 1, 2, 3 stacks of string. And I'm just going to run over here and toss them on the ground, which would have been the equivalent to make this rope. So we'll just chunk that string out. Apparently I have 3 more. I'll even throw in a bonus 3 string. How about that? So hopefully that's reasonably fair. So if you're playing this pack on a server, check with your administrator about getting some rope if you want to do Rustic, because it's not craftable as it should be. So we're going to do this over here. Now there is a bit of a trick to it. You want to not place this fertile soil side by side. You want to place it 2 blocks away from each other like this. Just place it 1, 2, place, 1, 2, place, 1, 2, place, like so. Because you're going to take these wooden stakes and you're going to go 1 block out from the end and place 2 tall wooden stakes. Then you're going to go 1 block out to the end. This will all make sense in a minute. 1 block out to the end, just leave an empty block, place 2 stakes, just like so. Now we're going to get our rope, and we're going to put an end piece on like that. Then we're going to start walking the rope all the way down. Like so. Boom, there we go. Now, to grow things like grape seeds, you want to plant on some fertile dirt underneath a rope, not with the rope on this, the block where the plant is going to be in, but a block above it. So we're going to plant that grape seed right there. Now, I'm going to speed things up by using a little bit of bone meal. We're going to hit it with some bone meal. You notice it turned into like a stalk. I'm going to hit it again, and you see it grows onto the rope. Now, the reason we left all these spaces is because it's going to grow a block out each side along the rope as long as there's rope there for it. So if I hit it with bone meal again, you see it grows a little nubbin off to the side here. Hit it with it again, we get a nubbin off to the side here, which is awesome. So that's a fully grown grape plant. Now, if I hit these little side nodes with some bone meal, you see we get the grapes. So that is how you grow your grapes in Rustic. You will not find these out in the world like this. You can collect the seeds, but you got to grow them like this with the rope. Now, certain plants, like I think it's chili peppers. Been a while since I've done Rustic, bear with me. I think it's chili peppers and tomatoes. We want to do a crop plot, words in my mouth, like so, and we want to put stakes in the crock plot itself. Crock pot? I don't know what I just said. Then we're going to take our chili peppers and plant them at the base. We're just going to smack the crop stick there. And you see it plants around the crop stick. So if we bone meal this, you see we get the chili peppers. Now eventually I believe they will in fact grow up to the next layer, if I'm not mistaken. But you can just sit here and bone meal all day and get chili peppers out of there. Another one is maters. So we do the 2-high stick, and we do the mater seeds, and we grab some bone meal, and you see we get maters out of that as well. And again, I think it will grow up to the second one. I don't think it'll grow any higher than that. Not sure about this deathstalk mushroom. Let's try it. You need to move because you are in the way. How about there? I'm gonna bet it is fertile soil. Just guessing. And deathstalk mushroom. Well, it definitely growed it up. What happens if I just whack it? I get several. Plant again. So there you go. You just come up, give it a whack, and you get several more. There you go. And you say, Obelix, what in the world are you doing over here? Why do you care about all this nonsense? Well, because I want stuff, man. Apple seeds, I'm pretty sure this is a tree. I don't think it'll grow here, will it? Yeah, see how it just became a sapling? Yeah, apple sapling. So we can take this, plant it, space and stuff. Space and stuff and things. Plant it, and then we should be able to just bone meal it into a tree. Now, you notice this is a rustic apple tree, not a Pam's Harvest Craft apple tree. Little bit different. So see how I'm bone mealing it and the apples are growing inside the tree? Now, when we harvest it, we should get those apples. But if we just let it sit here and grow, those should grow naturally on their own. Kind of cool. A little bit different than your average apple tree. Let's get some more grape seeds because we can fill this up like it is so. We can hit the bone meal like it is so. I do like the way this looks when it's fully grown. And I want to make sure y'all see why we put the spacing as we did, because it's this fully nice grown little thing. And eventually these will grow on their own, but we're just bone mealing them in because I think it looks super cool. So that's the bulk of crops, and you can use kind of this methodology across all the different crops in Rustic. Now, what do you want these crops for, and what in the world are you going to use them for? Well, we're going to do some shenanigans. Some hoopla and shenanigans, I tell you. Let's get all this nonsense out of my inventory. Now you will see that, just trying to focus, make sure I got all. Oh, the iron berries. This is primarily what I was looking for. And in the world, you will find ironwood saplings just naturally throughout the world. When you go to harvest these guys, as we will do here momentarily, which we have done this a bunch of times. We did it back over in that corner over there because if you notice or remember, this is all ironwood. Our entire factory is built from ironwood. This are ironwood planks, and these are ironwood logs. So we've grown a bajillion ironwood. You guys have seen this 100 times in these videos. But if we grow this, you'll see there's our ironwood tree. If we take our choppity chop chop, turn it on to killer rate, and not get where we want to be. Let's see. I missed that double jump. There we go. When we chop the tree, you'll see we get iron berries as a byproduct of the chopped tree. Now that is probably the most important berry, the one I want the most, that I want to work with the most of all the crops. But there are, plenty of other good crops in this pack. Now, what can you do with all these nonsense? Well, we can make these guys, which are called crushing tubs. We can put the material in the crushing tubs, different material for each tub. This is iron berries, by the way. And you see it took a whole stack. And then when you jump on it, like so, it produces the liquid. You see how the stack of berries is lessening, but the fluid is morening. And eventually it'll be filled all the way to the brim. And you'll know it's full because it'll stop making the squishy sound. See, just like that. So if you come in like these are wild berries, we can squish these and get wild berry juice. And at some point, someday, eventually, will be done. There we go. This is actually honey that we got, the honeycombs from the bees. So we can just jump on that and get honey out of this. Boingy, boingy, boingy. Super easy. Just takes a little bit of time and effort. Totally worth it. These are apples. Now, apples, when you jump on them, you actually get apple seeds, which kind of makes sense. So even if you haven't, found an apple sapling, rustic apple sapling or whatever, this is how you get the seeds. Just make one of these, take any old vanilla apple, toss it in there. This is olive oil, so we got olives in here. And these are your grapes, so this is grapefruit or grape juice. Hence the purple coloration. Boingy, boingy. There we go. Now those are easy to make, the crushing tubs. Let's go over here and just get rid of the stuff and look up the crushing tub, which you will see is just some slabs, some planks, and 2 iron ingots. We'll get you a crushing tub. Super easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now what can you do with all those juices, you say? Well, my friend, let's learn. Wow, let me go switch my battery before I forget it's not full and I jump off the roof and end up killing myself. There we go. So what can we do with this? Well, one thing we can do is make this guy called a drying basin. And that's just 3 terracotta in a like flower pot type thing. And that is specifically for this the ironberry juice. We're going to grab just a bucket of it. You can grab more. This basin will actually hold quite a bit. We're just going to put some ironberry juice in there, and we're going to just let it sit here and dry. What's going to happen is it's going to give you a tiny iron powder. Yeah, 9 of those will give you enough powder that you can make an ingot. It'll give you, full powder, and you can turn that. You can throw it in a smelter and make an entire iron ingot. So this is kind of an alternative way to get iron. There you go. You see it's starting to make these tiny piles of iron dust. Now, it's not a horribly efficient way to make iron, but if you are hard up for iron and just can't go mining or whatever, this is an option. Or if you're playing Skyblock and you just can't, for whatever reason, get iron, you can get it if you have an ironberry bush or an ironberry tree. So it is an option. Now, all these others, with the exception of olive oil, you can turn into alcohol, to an alcoholic beverage. Now, these alcoholic beverages have both negative and positive buffs that they can provide you. The better the quality of the alcohol, the better the chance of a positive buff instead of a negative buff, though you can still have negative buffs. Now, to make the alcohol, you need these guys, these brewing barrels, and you see I've got several here. It's an easy recipe, so it's just planks, some slabs, and 2 more iron ingots. and you get these wooden barrels. Now they have this interface here. There's 3 slots. So this is your output slot right here. This is your craft time. This arrow will light up as well. This is your primary input, and this is a modifier input. Now, this works a little different than you might think. So, I've got Ironberry in this one right here. So, let's take a look at Ironberry. Well, let me tell you what. Let me start with the basics. So, let's just take grapes. We all know grapes, and let's say we want to make wine. And I'm going to come over here to this guy that's never been used. First thing you would do is place this bucket of grape juice in the center tank. Now the nice thing is with this mod is anything you put in a tank, if it's wrong, you can always take it out. Just put the bucket back and you'll take it out. And that works for all 3 of these tanks. So this is to put in, this is to take it, to take it out again for each one of these guys. Works awesome. Now you see, as soon as I put it in, this still says grape juice, 1 bucket of 8. So I could load this up with 8 if I wanted to. You see it processing, and you see this little arrow filling up, and you see it filling up really, really slow. It's because it takes half of a Minecraft day, or 10 real-world minutes, assuming your server hasn't been modified. So in half a Minecraft day, this will be fermented and turned into wine. Now this wine is going to have a quality. There's going to be an additional number that shows up. Right now this just says grape juice and the quantity. This is going to show the quantity, but also a quality. The highest quality you can have is 1.0. The lowest quality you can have is 0.00. So it's anywhere from 0 to 1, or any decimal value in between. Kind of a good starting point that you're shooting for is about 0.5. At about 0.5 is where you're going to start to see those good buffs show up, and not as many of the bad buffs showing up. Below 0.5, you're going to see a whole bunch of bad buffs and not many good buffs. So, how do we get our produced item leveled up to 1? Because it's not just magically going to appear as a 1. I think the highest you can produce off the first batch is a 0.75. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's correct. And it's incredibly rare. You're usually going to first batch produce something like 4.6, maybe a 5.3. I'm sorry, I'm saying 4.6. I'm meaning 0.46 or 0.53. So let me show you here on this iron wine, which we have turned the ironberry juice. We started out here and produced the iron wine. You can see we're up to 0.67. Now I've cycled this through many times to upgrade this. Now what you will do is take the first batch of produced wine, and you're going to put a bottle, and you're going to collect that. Now we see it's 0.67. Now there won't be anything in here when you first start out. But what you're going to do is put this bottle here into the seed. So it acts like a base, a base point or starting point. So whatever the quality that is this number is kind of the new starting point for whatever you're going to produce. So I've got this one at 0.67. So unfortunately, it gave me a 0.67 out. We're hoping for better. We didn't get it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just drain that bottle, and you can do that in your inventory. I'm going to go get some more iron berry juice, and I'm just going to put it in here like so and let it start producing. So you see we've got the iron wine with a quality of 0.67. We're turning the ironberry juice into more ironberry wine, and the hope is it will go up higher than 0.67. It should not be able to go lower as long as we have this base in here. Without the base, we can definitely get lower into the 40s and 30s, whatever. So this is the honey. So honey turns into mead. So I'm using a base of 0.74. So we got really lucky on one of our first ones, and I've cycled it through several times. So this one actually produced slightly lower. It's pretty rare to produce lower. Usually it's higher, but definitely not what we want. So we're going to trash that. We're going to grab some more honey and pop it in there. And again, we're shooting for that mythical 1.0, which is actually really hard to get. This takes a long time. I wish I had done this, started this a long time ago. This is cider, which is made from the apples, so the apple juice. So that we started with a base of 0.56, and we ended up, it went down as well. What a shame. So we got 2 negatives this go around. That's not healthy at all. So I believe that was our apples. So we're going to start some more apples going. And there you see it cruising. And this is our wine. So we got a 5.5 and a 5.5. So we ended up with exactly what we put in. So no improvement there either. So we'll clear that out. So we can stay at 5.5. Now this is wine, so this is that right there. That's made out of grapes. Now, if you put the wrong, the starter material has to match the product you're producing. If they don't, say this was apple juice at 1.0, or what do you call it, cider. Yeah. This was cider at 1.0, and you put in grape juice, it's not going to produce. This isn't going to rise, and this isn't going to start going across. It's just going to ignore you. So you have to take it out. Your base has to be the same as what you're trying to make. So here we've got the wild berry, so we've got a 0.69, which is really good. Oh, and we got an improvement here, 0.71. So we definitely want to use this as our new base. So I want to pull out the old base and just hang on to it. I want to put the new base, the 0.71, and you can see it in the bottle, which is really nice. I want to put the 7.1 there, and I need to get a new bucket of wild berries. And the reason I don't bother filling this all the way up is because I don't want to produce a whole bunch of it at 0.71. I want to get it all the way to 1.0 and then produce a whole bunch of it. So I'm just using it in these little spills to adapt it for our use, to get it to the level we want. And you see this guy's about halfway. This one we started over here is 3/4 of the way done. Again, it does take an entire Minecraft day, so you just kind of got to let it sit there and do its thing. Hey, we made some more tiny iron. Fantastic. You see that whole bucket of ironberry juice produced, I think, 2 or 3 tiny dust, so it does not produce a whole boat ton. Now you say, Obelix, this is a lot of work. Why are you going through this big pain in the booty? Well, these wines, or the mead in the case of the honey, or the cider in the case of the apple, has, again, positive effects. Some of those positive effects can be pretty darn stellar. The iron wine, for example, is really, really good. It can give you extra hearts, down here in your heart layer. It can give you up to 10 extra hearts if you keep drinking and drinking and drinking it. Now, if you drink that much wine, you're going to get a little wobbly, and that does happen in game. Those are some of the negative buffs of drinking so much. But you keep that heart until you lose it. So you could drink, bottle of iron wine, get your heart, maybe get a negative effect, wait for it to wear off, and then drink another one, and you're going to get a second heart all the way up to 10. So it's an easy way to make bonus hearts after you've gone through all the hoopla of improving the quality of the beverage. Now, that's just one of the many things you can do with Rustic, is these, wine production, from our cool crops way down there that we can barely see. So one of the other things we can do is, much the way that enchanting works, not enchanting, what am I trying to say? Much the way as potions work, only different, as vanilla potions work. So, we need to make an Alchemic Condenser, which is pretty basic stuff. Just some terracotta and some clay. And I bet we don't have white terracotta, do we? Of course we don't. Why would I have white terracotta? And I'm apparently completely out of terracotta. Do I have clay? Of course I do, in large quantities. So let me grab 8 of those. Walk over here to Mr. Cookerator. I was finding that I was going down to our environmental technology void miners, bringing up the resources and having this guy process it. This smelter is stupid slow compared to this sag mill with this nice little capacitor in it. And again, we're using a special capacitor here too. It's just still not as fast. So I ended up fully upgrading a redstone furnace from thermal expansion and using this as well. So it's pretty darn quick, but it's definitely helping this system keep up with this guy so it's not bogging down as much. Now those clay should have already been sucked back into our storage system. So we can come back here and go there and go there and get this now done and dusted. So this is the basic. Kind of an interesting look to it. And while we're here, let's just make an advanced. Boom, a little bit bigger, but it is the advanced variant. Now we are also going to need the retorts, these guys right here. So let's get the basic one, and let's get the advanced one while we're here, just to save us time. We're going to build it down the road anyway. So, all right, so you will forgive me, it has been a while, but we actually need 2 retorts for the basic and 3 retorts for the advanced. Reason being is the basic, and I'm just going to move this advanced out of the way so we have enough room to work with it. The reason being is the retorts are where, think of it like the material goes. So, and that is not facing correctly because we want it to connect. It needs to be on the side, but we definitely want it to connect, which it did right there. So we kind of do like so. Now we get our interface. So if you have built this wrong, you simply won't get the interface. But the basic condenser can do 2 items. So think of it like 1 retort for each item. The advanced, if I right click it, nothing happens because we haven't put our retorts on, takes 3 retorts because it can work with 3 items. So if I just slap these around like so, and we can click on it, we get an interface, we know it's good. So you see this one works with 3 item recipes. So 2 item recipes, 3 item recipes. It does take a burnable fuel such as coal down in the what looks like an obvious furnace slot. It does take bottles. So one of the benefits of these rustic potions, or Rustic calls them elixirs, is that they are stackable up to 16, where normal Minecraft potions are not. So, to carry a whole bunch of Minecraft potions, you need a whole bunch of empty slots in your inventory. These rustic elixirs, we'll call them potions, can stack up to 16, which is super nice. And you can see there's a lot of them. So if we wanted to make instant health, well, that's chamomile seeds, and raw beef. So, do we have some chamomile? Do I have any? Oh, CHA. CHAM? No. Well, poo-poo. I'm going to have to go find some of that. How about regen? Honey and cohosh. Oh, honey we've got. Do I have the cohosh? I do. So we just found this in the world as we cruise around. We definitely have some honeycombs. These bees have been working for us. So I put this here and this here. Now we're going to have to give this guy some water. So let us get the natural for water. We always go with the kitchen sink. And of course I don't have enough terracotta. Because why would I have enough terracotta? I'm just going to make a stack of this stupid stuff because I seem to be running out of it a lot. Yeah, we got all the clay in the world. We just don't have, we haven't cooked it. So let's just cook it. Zorp. Come on, back it up. Give me sink. Of course I have no bucket with the water. Foul you. Foul you game. Do I have any water on this level? I think I have some over here. Oh, I have a sink here, don't I? Give me your water. It's like I know somewhere in here I have a sink. There we go. Give my bucket back. You go away. So we will. I totally forgot I have a whole kitchen right here with a daggum sink. Oh well. Okay, so we can just interact with this by right-clicking the bucket on there, and you see it making pretty colors, doing lots of crazy things, and producificating. Very cool. I do like that, the way it look. And there we go. We made 1 elixir of regen. Very nice. Very nice. So let's grab a couple, maybe 4 of those, and some honey. Let's grab 4 more honey. Just to prove these guys can, in fact. Now that should have used, what, 1 bucket? No, it didn't even use a whole bucket. Nice. Alright, we'll get him to producing, and let's just load him up with some water while we're here. There we go. And we'll let him produce several. Now let's move on to this guy, the advanced. So if we go back to at Rustic, we look at some of the advanced elixirs. So speed. We actually need the marshmallow root. Oh, I don't think I have any of that. Let's see. Where was the one I wanted to see? It was one that doesn't exist normally. Elixir of Blazing Trail. So we need a horsetail, netherrack, blaze powder, and a chili pepper. Do we have a chili pepper? Surely we do. That's probably the hardest item. And there's a horsetail, which we should be able to grow outside as well. Some netherrack. And was it blaze powder? There we go. And we need some water. Let's just put a few buckets in. There we go. Now we put our horsetail, netherrack, blaze powder, and chili pepper. And we can see all of them cranking away doing little jobber. Phantasmo. This guy should have finished. Notice 4 and lovely they stack. So if we take a swig, we now have 40 seconds of regen. Wouldn't that be nice in a wither fight? This guy is done. And we now have the Elixir of Blazing Trail. I have no clue what this one does. This is one I have not seen before. Let's go upstairs and see if we can see what it does. We still have regen. Apparently lights me on fire and lights everything everywhere I walk on fire. For 8 minutes. Oh, that's fun. Well, okay then. I'm glad we have fire spread turned off, because that could have been really bad. This is a great potion of toying with your friends and neighbors. Wouldn't mind some more of that regen. What happens if we go in the water? Let's turn our jetpack on. Oh, I'm gonna die. Don't die! In the water! Save me! As soon as you come out of the water, it starts lighting on fire. It's trying to light the water on fire, but obviously water doesn't light on fire, so... yeah, that's a thing. I know, right, dog? That's crazy. Can I run fast enough? Can I outrun it? Apparently not. It's just stupid. Blazing trail. Okay, fair enough. I have so many fires to put out now. Anyway, guys, from here in the water pit, because if I try to leave, I burn to death. I guess I could fly and be okay. So, I sure do appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me, as always. And until next time, y'all, get out there and make some noise. See ya.